and an ambitious TBR. I'm just ambitious and I'm a mood reader. I need this book in my hands immediately. I am one weird son of a bro. Hey, hi, hello, welcome back to my channel, my book loving friends. My name is Christina if you're new here, and we are filming an April TBR today. Goodness, I have not filmed one of these in ages. Isn't that insane? Ages. Actual flipping ages, okay? Goodness, this feels so weird. I've not sat down and filmed a video in well over a year, so I'm rusty. Bear with me, okay? But we have coffee and an ambitious TBR, so some things never change. Okay, I'm going to do a very quick disclaimer. There's going to be a lot of sounds, okay? This household has 2 birds, 3 dogs, 1 cat, and a fire alarm that needs the battery taken out and replaced. So it keeps beeping every 5 freaking seconds. I do not have a door yet. It has been ordered. It's coming in on Tuesday. I want to film this video today. I just do, okay? The house is empty. It's just me and all the animals. I want to film this, so I apologize in advance if there are so many sound effects and noises in the background. I'm so sorry. Let's get into an April TBR, okay? I have not filmed a TBR since September of 2022. It's been a year and a half, okay? I love making TBRs. These are one of my favorite videos, not only to make, but also, told you, but also to watch. I love watching TBRs. Now, I am going to preface this video with, I do not know synopses. I go into a lot of books knowing absolutely nothing, okay? Absolutely nothing. And there are multiple books on this TBR that I know literally nothing about. I don't want to know anything about. I just get really good vibes from, and people that I trust their opinions on love the book. Like, I go into books knowing nothing. I prefer to go into books knowing nothing. Now, I will tell you things if I know things about a book, but there are certain books that I know nothing about, okay? So I want to tell you that right the heck now. Now, even if I do know what a book's about, I suck at synopses. So even if I knew what the synopsis was, I couldn't explain to you if I even tried. I couldn't. But let's get into the video because we have an ambitious TBR. There's no way I'm getting to all of these books this month. There's just literally no way. But I am in the biggest fantasy mood I've been in probably a year. My entire life, since I got into really reading back in high school, I've been a fantasy romance girl. Always. When people ask me what I read, till this day I say fantasy and fantasy romance. But if you've been watching my reading vlogs, I've been reading so many romances for months, and only romances, okay? Now, the romances have varied. I went with my dark romance phase. If you know, you know. I am looking at the ritual as we speak, okay? But then I also just have been reading so much this freaking year, and I'm loving it. I am finally back into my reading era, okay? I am so happy about it, but this TBR is stacked with fantasy and fantasy romances, okay? Mainly fantasy romance. Okay, now there are some books in here that I'm going to be calling my palette cleansers slash mood shifters because I'm a mood reader at heart. At heart, okay? These are all books that I'm looking at right the heck now, but I have like 4 books that aren't really fantasy, that kind of are other categories, other genres, in case I just need a change of scenery, you know? I am one weird son of a bro. Coffee is fantastic. I specifically drove to a further Dunkin' because I knew their coffee is always so good. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the video, okay? Now, I'm going to start with the books that I don't physically own. Now, there are 4 books on here that I don't physically own. I think only 1. Oh, no, there's 5 that I don't physically own. I've ordered 4, so 4 are on their way to me, and then there's just 1 that's still on my KU that I'm still indecisive about. I think I am going to end up buying it soon, just not right the heck now. My main focus is this library, which by the way is coming together so gorgeously. Now, these bottom shelves look a little empty because a lot of them are actually on this pile. First. Oh, I don't want that. I don't want that cover. Damn, okay, I was gonna buy this right the heck now because the paperback is available for $8, but it's the old cover and I really want the new cover, and the new cover is $24, and your girl right now is not gonna spend $24. But the first book on this TBR is How Does It Feel? This is by Janine O'Reilly. This is book 1 in the Infatuated Fae series. Listen. There's only 2 reasons, and 2 reasons only, why this is on my TBR. 1, Faye. Usually, that's all it takes. 2, Mercedes from TikTok. If you know who she is, I love her with my entire well-being, and I hope she's doing well. I hope she's doing okay as she can, because God bless her. But she raved about this book when she read it, and she just read the sequel. I don't know if it's out or if it's coming out, but she just read it, and she loved it. And I need to read it. That's the only reason why it's on my TBR. I don't want to know what this book's about. I know there's fae. That's all I need. I don't need anything else, okay? Give me a fae story with fairies, wingspans, and gorgeous fae men. I'm in, okay? I'm an easy girl, okay? Anyway, this is gonna be such a chaotic ass video. We're only 7 minutes in. What is wrong with me? Okay, so next. This is actually a book I have ordered on Amazon, and listen, I'm gonna tell you why this book is on my TBR, and it's not gonna be hard once you see this cover, because this cover is the reason it's on my TBR, okay? The next book is The Grim Reaper's Lawyer by Mia Monique. This cover appeared on my KU recommendations, and I instantly downloaded it, and the paperback, at this very moment in time, today is Saturday, it is March 30th. You're either seeing this today or on March 31st. It is $8 on Amazon. So if you want, go snatch a copy right the heck now. But this book, 1, looks absolutely stunning and gorgeous. Listen to just the first paragraph, okay? When having to decide between spending her afterlife in hell or as the Grim Reaper's lawyer, it's not even a hard choice for Joyce Parker. Of course, she'd choose hell. I need to read this book so bad. Oh my god. This cover, by the way, is absolutely stunning. Like, it is drop dead stunning gorgeous, okay? Oh my god, I don't want to know anything else. Like, I'm not even going to continue the synopsis. Because honestly, I downloaded it on my Kindle just because of the title and the cover alone. And it's arriving today at 10 p.m. and I cannot wait, okay? Next book that I ordered that is also on KU is The Ever King by L.J. Andrews. I have seen this book bloody everywhere. I have seen this book all over my TikTok. It's all over my Instagram feed. Bunch of booktubers are reading it, if not are recommending it. Rachel from Raven Hair Reader just mentioned it on her fantasy romance recommendations, and I bought it, okay? I bought it mainly because I have no self-control, but I also noticed that I had $40 of cashback bonus on Amazon that I hadn't even used. So technically the next 3 books I got 2 for free, and I really only paid $9 for the last one. So, you know, girl math, I got 3 books for like $10. Sounds like a plan to me. I know nothing about this book. Nothing. I absolutely know nothing about this book other than the fact that Rachel loves it. Now, me and Rachel, I don't think there's anyone else, any other friend of mine that has the exact same reading taste I do. Me and Rachel agree on almost every single book that we read. There may only be 2 or 3 books that I can count that we probably didn't even agree on, and I mean like a star or 2 rating that was off. And I'm super excited to read this book. All I know is the little blurb that says they stole his crown, so he stole their daughter. Welcome to the passionate world of the Ever Kingdom, where pirates, sirens, and fae collide with Vikings in a dark fantasy romance between a villain and the innocent princess who holds his heart. Shut the fuck I need this book in my hands immediately. I did not even read that. I just bought it because Rachel told me to. Did she tell me to? No. Did she recommend it? Yeah. So did I buy it? Yes. I don't need to know anything else. I want to read this book as soon as I get it into my hands. I'm so excited for that. Hold on. I'm so freaking excited for that. Okay, now, next book, talking about Rachel, next book was also mentioned in her fantasy recommendations, fantasy romance recommendations. Highly recommend checking out that video because she lists a bunch of fantastic recommendations. Spark of the Everflame. Spark of the Everflame. I am seeing this book flooding my TikTok. Flooding my TikTok. It's everywhere. Rachel has been raving about it forever, which is funny because raven-haired reader is raving about it. Listen, that just came into my head. Don't judge me. She's been raving about it since she literally like finished it, and she's already on the 3rd book. Like, she is finishing the series. Is it a trilogy? Oh no, it's 1 of 4, of course. Literally, she's already on, I think, book 3, if not book 4. I think she's on book 3. But like, she's going through the series like no one's business, and she literally told me that it would be like the perfect book for me. Now, this book, now let's just read this together, shall we? Because I think this is entertaining, because I don't know anything about it either. All I know is that I think there are fae in this one. There's fae, right? Is there fae? Or am I making that up? I don't think there's fae. Maybe there isn't fae. Anyway, let's read this together, because you know what? The Ever King, that was a fun time. Spark of the Everflame is the first book in the Kindred's Curse saga, a 4-book epic fantasy romance series that follows our feisty, badass heroine, Dame Bellator, in her fight against injustice and oppression, her struggle to survive in a royal palace full of betrayal and intrigue, and her journey of self-discovery and finding true love. Love this already. This slow burn enemies to lovers series is perfect for fans of unique magic systems, dragons, and other mythical creatures, angst and romance, oh my god, and romantic tension and hilarious banter. This sounds up my ass. This book will appeal to fans of plot-heavy, character-driven romantasy. Character-driven romantasy is like that should be like my subtitle. You know, like Christina's chapters. Character-driven romantasy. That's my category. That's me. That's my brand, okay? Character driven is what describes me in a nutshell. Such as, of course, Thorns and Roses, of course. Throne of Glass, of course. From Blood and Ash, Shadow and Bone. I didn't like Shadow and Bone. And The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Yeah, this sounds up my alley. There are content warnings, so do look them up. Yeah, I'm very excited for that. I'm very excited for. I might read that extremely soon. And last but not least is also another book that has flooded my TikTok. I actually don't know anything about this book either. This is Blood and Steel. I do know that it's romantasy. Perfect for fans of the Bridge Kingdom, From Blood and Ash, and The Witcher. Goodness. I've only read From Blood and Ash. I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. It's an epic, it's romantasy. An epic romantic fantasy with enemies to lovers, slow burn spice, found family, and a sprawling world of magic and monsters. Okay. Those are my 3 favorite tropes. Slow burn, found family, and enemies to lovers are my 3 favorite tropes. Those are my top 3 tropes. Goodness, I don't need to know anymore. I don't want to know anymore. That's all I needed. That's all I needed. I'm so excited for all of those books. It's insane. Okay, next, let's get into the physicals that are next to me. By the way, I am not reading all of these books in April. I'm not. I'm well aware that I will not be reading all of these. I'm just ambitious and I'm a mood reader, okay? So we have multiple things in here. Most of it is romantasy. Most of it is fantasy. And then there's some other things in here. So let's start with the reread that I am currently in the middle of. Don't judge me for it, but I am currently rereading A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is my gorgeous, gorgeous edition of it. I am in the middle of rereading these. I just finished a reread of Akabath, listening to the graphic audio, and I really, really enjoyed it. So much so I actually ended up borrowing the first graphic audio of Akawar, and so far I'm absolutely loving it. I have already started it. I'm definitely not going to finish it in March, so I do plan on finishing it in April, but it is just a fun reread for me, so I'm not going to mention too much. This is the 3rd book in A Court of Thorns and Roses series, but Sarah J. Maas has already shoved down everybody else's throats. I don't think you guys need to know what Sarah J. Maas's A Court of Wings and Ruin is really about. It's the ACOTAR series. We all know what that is. Next, okay? Now, I own this book. I've already read this book, okay? But I'm holding this up because I don't have the 2nd book in my hands. I'm holding this one up because I don't remember this name. The time I got drunk and yeeted a love potion at a werewolf. I love these freaking titles and even the cover. I'll put the cover here. I cannot wait to read this. I did read this one and really enjoyed it. I have the audiobook available to me through Libby. It just came in like 2 or 3 days ago, so definitely plan on listening to this soon. These are such fun times. I love Kimberly Lemmings. I think she does a fantastic job with these books. She doesn't take herself too seriously. They're super funny. They're so sarcastic. The banter between the characters are really, really fun, and I can't wait to dive back into it. So love this. Cannot wait to get into that. I don't know anything else about it. Next. Sing Me to Sleep. I can't wait to read this book. Now, I do have this gorgeous cover and this gorgeous edition. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I can't wait to read this. Can't wait. I just want to read this as soon as humanly possible. All I know about this book is sirens. And there's a beautiful black woman on the cover. And there's magic. I don't need anything else. I'm so excited. Also, this has absolutely raving reviews all over BookTube, Instagram, Goodreads, TikTok, everywhere. I just cannot wait to get into this book. I feel like it's going to be a fantastic series. Now, I do believe this is a duology. I believe it's a duology. Don't take my word on it just yet. The second book is coming out in August, Drown Me with Dreams. That is a stunning cover. Goodness. All I know is that there are sirens in this book. I do know that it's obviously YA. I really do enjoy YA fantasy still. I don't read it as often as I used to. I love YA fantasy for like a palate cleanser, because adult fantasy does tend to be a little bit more epic and a little bit more sometimes you need to do a little bit more thinking, you know. But I do really want to get into more YA fantasy. I love YA fantasy. They're fun, fast reads, and they're just a really good time for me, you know. Okay, so the next book that I have is not going to be an absolute shock to absolutely anybody, okay? This is a reach for sure, okay? An absolute reach for sure. But this is When the Moon Hatched. Listen, do I even have to tell you what this book's about? Because honestly, one, the cover is one of the most prettiest covers I've ever seen. It is so, it's absolutely gorgeous. Like, even the back, look at that. Gorgeous. I love the feel of this book also. And this book is long. Like, even the illustrations in the book are really, really pretty. Now, all I know is that there are dragons in here and everybody loves it. Everyone that I know that has read it has literally loved this book. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. I know nothing about it. I don't want to know anything about it. This will be just a huge mood read. It's a thick, chunky book that it would be physically reading, so this would take me an absolute long ass time to actually read. But it's really pretty. I'm not gonna lie, it being so pretty makes me want to read it so bad, and I'm going to annotate it when I do physically read this. I'm not capable of physically reading a book without annotating anymore. I feel if I'm gonna physically read a book, I'm gonna annotate it. Like, it's going to happen. Next, The Ballad of Never After. I cannot believe I haven't read this book yet. So I read the first book in the series. What's it called? I read the first book in the series, Once Upon a Broken Heart, a while ago, and I loved it, and I was so excited for when this came out, and this came out well over a while ago because the third book's already out. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. I'm so excited to read this. I do still remember the first book. I don't think I'll need to reread the first book. I might if I feel, but I loved the first one. I really did. I really enjoyed Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I do think this would be a fun, easy, fast romantasy, because who doesn't love romantasy? Am I right? Am I right? Okay, next. We have a book that's extremely high on this list. So Let Them Burn. There's a lot of dragons. We'll say there's a lot of dragons in this TBR. So Let Them Burn. This is by Camilla Cole. A dragon took her sister. She'll set the world on fire to bring her back. Girl, you take my sister, I'm setting the world on fire to bring her back too. I'm so excited for this book. I do know this is also YA. It's also YA. It is blurred by so many fantastic authors. Chloe Gong, Namina Forna, Ava Reed, Aiden Thomas, like fantastic authors. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. I don't know anything about this book. I don't want to know anything about this book. There are dragons, magic, and she's trying to get her sister. I would do anything to get my sister. I'm also the big sister. So I think this book would be so much fun for me to read. Also, it'd be fast. It's also YA, so it'd be a fun, fast read for me. Next. This next book is more of like, maybe if I'm in the mood for it, I'll read it. But it's Powerless. I think everyone has read this book at this point. This book came out a little while ago. I don't really know too much about it. I ended up actually getting this book from my my bookstore, my local indie bookstore that I actually work at. This was my Christmas bonus. He gave me this book as my Christmas bonus. So technically I did not pay for this book. I don't know anything about this book. It sounds like your ordinary, fun, romantic-y, YA-esque new adult book. I've heard mixed reviews for this book. I do think I have to be in the mood for it. It's not very high on my TBR, but it's definitely like my vibe, right? Like the romantic-y vibes give off from this cover. I have heard good things, but I also have heard like pretty mediocre things also. I don't think I've heard bad things necessarily about the book, but I do still definitely want to check it out, and I really do want to read it. I just don't have very high hopes, I will say, for this book. I do think that this is going to be more of like a 3-4 stars, kind of what I'm hoping with this book. I don't have very high expectations, but I do know that a lot of people really do enjoy this book, so I am very excited for it. Next, we have The Scarlet Alchemist. I am so excited to read this book. I have obviously the normal edition, and I have the Fairy Loot edition, which has probably the most prettiest sprayed edges I've ever seen in my life. This is a stunning edition also, by the way. Like, a stunning edition. But this is written by Kylie Lee Baker. Now, Kylie Lee Baker also wrote Keeper of the Night. Now, when I read Keeper of the Night, I did really enjoy it. I think I gave it about 4 stars. Wasn't my favorite, but I did enjoy the, what was it? Like, the atmosphere of it. It was very, very atmospheric. It was a very plot-driven fantasy, which I think this one will also be a very plot-driven fantasy. I don't know. I'm sure there probably is romance, but I don't think it's the forefront. Yeah, the principal rule of alchemy: you cannot create good without creating evil. I think it's going to just be a fun YA fantasy. I don't think there's romance in here. Now, when I do go into YA fantasy, I don't really expect there to be romance. I'm really just getting YA fantasy for the escapism and just the fun, fast reads that they really truly are. And Kylie Baker has a really great writing style that I really did enjoy in Keeper of the Night, so I want to keep exploring more of Kylie Baker's writing. Next. A Tempest in Tea. I want to read this book so bad. I will say I'm desperate want to read this book so bad. I cannot wait to get into this book. I have not read We Hunt the Flame, even though I really freaking want to. I have not read it yet, but this cover is so gorgeous. Like, it's so gorgeous. I cannot wait to read this book. I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. I actually want to go into this book blind, so I'm not going to say much about it. It's a new release. We Hunt the Flame was everywhere and anywhere till this day. It's all over the place, and I do plan on reading it very, very soon. Also, Jan just read this, and she really enjoyed it, so I trust Jan, you know? Now we have our alternatives. These are not fantasy. These are just my mood shifters in case my mood does change. These are books that are still calling out to me, but they're just not fantasy. The first book is really random, but A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. I was not really planning on picking up Megan Quinn at all, really, until I saw her at the Barnes & Noble book festival thing that I went to in the city, and she was a part of the panel. I loved her. Like, her, Megan Quinn herself, I love her. I love everything about her. And she made me interested in her books just because of her. Whoa, what was that? There's illustrations in this book. Oh, wow. I did not expect illustrations. Wow, I want to read this. Now I want to read this so much more. Wait, that was a hot-ass illustration. I need to find it. Come on. I'm sorry. Now I have to read this book. That just gave me more reason to read this book. I just also love the feel about this book. But anyway, I've heard great things about Megan Quinn. Next. I've talked about this book multiple times on my channel already, but Vicious Union by Jocelyn Soto. This is a cartel romance. I've never read a cartel romance ever, okay? And I want to read this so bad. Now, this was popping up on my TikTok during my dark romance era, and until this day it pops up on my TikTok. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this. I also actually have the audiobook to this through, I think it's Hoopla, but I think Script has it also, or Everend, whatever the heck it's called now, I don't know. But I mean, just look at that cover. Flor de Muertos. That's Portuguese. I can't undo it now. Flor de Muertos. Was that right? I don't know. But it's pretty. It's pretty. The font's nice in here. The pages are so brightly white, it's insane. Only reason I picked it up is because it's a cartel romance and it has raving reviews. So I'm really looking forward to this whenever I'm actually in the mood for it. Last but not least, the next book does not even need an introduction. It's Where Sleeping Girls Lie by Farida Imide. I just watched her say it. This book needs no introduction. Obviously, she wrote Ace of Spades, which till this day is still one of my most recommended books that I recommend people. It was such a fun YA thriller. Mind you, it was a thriller and I still really enjoyed it. I loved it. I ate it up. I gave it 5 stars. This is her next book, okay? I have high hopes for this book. Here's the thing. I have been hearing very mixed reviews. I heard that this is a much slower story than Ace of Spades, but I am still very much looking forward to this. I will say, I love the color of this naked hardback. Like, it's like a matte teal. It's a beautiful thing. But I am obsessed with this cover. Obsessed with this cover. I can't get over this cover. This cover is everything and more. I love this cover so much. Oh my god, like, why is there a bird on her eye? I want to know. But I do also know that this still is YA, which I'm not opposed to. I don't love thrillers, but YA mystery and like thrillers are, I don't stay away from them or stray away from them at all. If I'm in the mood for them, I will pick them up. But also, fun fact, my bookstore, he ended up only ordering 1 because when he was ordering like the new releases and stuff, the publisher literally told him, you don't want this book? He was like, I mean, I haven't gotten any requests for it, but sure, just add 1. And then I went in, picked it up, and like, oh my god, you have this book. He was like, wait, is it popular? I'm like, yes. Then he ordered like 3 more. Because I told him that it's popular and I wanted the book. My bookstore owner tends to, like, if I buy any book from him or order any book from him, he'll order 2. He gets a lot of people that are my age that have a very similar reading taste to me. And any book that I usually end up buying, he tends to also sell to other people. But I want to read this book so bad. I want to read the book so bad, okay? Okay, that is the end of this ambitious ass TBR. I'm not reading all of these. We're well aware I'm not reading all of these, and that's perfectly fine. I'm so excited to be back in my fantasy mood that I got very excited, okay? But I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you want to, and I will see you guys in a bookish video coming soon. Mwah! Bye.